Hi. Um, my discussion today, or rant, I guess it will be, is concerning the opioid or opiate um, addiction crisis that's going on in Canada, US. I don't know what other countries it's affecting um, big time, but I know it's affecting the country I live in, which is Canada. So I want to know what people think about, or if they've had run into any trouble um, with receiving pain medication for serious injuries. August of last year, I slipped getting out of the shower, and unfortunately, I flew into the door and ended up fracturing, the ball of my shoulder joint in 4 places and fractured my humerus um, about here. I could not get pain medication. Um, it was ridiculous. I went through torturous months of pain with minimal pain medication. I couldn't get Percocet, which I knew from busting this shoulder, and I had to have a plate put in my arm. Um, I knew I had a high tolerance for pain medication, but I knew that they had tried me on Oxycontin, and I didn't like that. It made me feel weird, and it didn't really help the pain, I didn't find. Um, but I knew Percocet worked, and I requested Percocet, and apparently I shouldn't have done that because I couldn't get anything from any of the doctors that looked after me. So right from emergency, they offered me Tylenol 3, and I'm like, are you kidding? Like, that's not going to help. I knew from my previous shoulder injury um, that Tylenol 3 wasn't even going to touch it. Not to mention that I have Crohn's, and the codeine sits in my stomach like a rock. So that offended them, I guess, and um, they wouldn't give me any medication. They said I refused medication. I'm like, that's bullshit. I didn't refuse medication. I said, don't send me home with Tylenol 3. I need something stronger. Um, so they ended up sending me home with nothing. I got one injection the whole time I was in there. If it hadn't have been for my brother calling ambulance, the ambulance to take me, um, they shot me up with friggin' morphine and um, gave me, I don't know, Ativan or something that would help the pain medication kick in better. I mean, I was in severe pain, like excruciating pain. And yeah, if it hadn't have been for those guys in the ambulance that picked me up, I would have been in the emergency department for 7 hours without any kind of pain medication. So anyway, then I got sent to orthopedic surgeon through Emerge, and that was like 2 days later, I think. And then again, the friggin' doctor that the surgeon that saw me said I just had the break here. And when I asked for something for pain, and I asked for Percocet, apparently, you know, there's been some kind of warning put out by our government because of the addiction crisis, um, that, you know, the doctors are being held liable. And so I couldn't get anything. Like, holy frig. Um, they did write a prescription for tramadol, I believe it was. And yeah, it did help a little bit. But I was still in a lot of pain. A lot of pain. Like, just 24/7. Couldn't sleep. Actually couldn't lay down. Of course, anybody that knows, if you've dislocated a shoulder or have any kind of shoulder injury, the pressure when you try to lay down is just excruciating. So I was sleeping in a Lazy Boy easy chair, partially reclined because I couldn't recline it all the way back. And my arm was in a sling. So this orthopedic surgeon didn't really specialize in shoulders. So they referred me to another orthopedic surgeon, which was 4 weeks out. The appointment, I believe, was 3 or 4 weeks out. Now, the orthopedic surgeon that I had originally saw that set up this other appointment gave me a prescription for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. My other appointment was in 4 weeks. 4. So I ended up going to my family doctor, and I'm like, I need something for pain. Like, I'm going out of my mind. I have so much pain. And yeah. Oh, you only have one break. You should be healed by now. Really? I'm 53 years old. I've had multiple breaks. Every time I fall, I seem to break a bone. Thank God it's been years apart, but and I have fibromyalgia, which makes your pain sensories more sensitive. And this is my family doctor, and he wouldn't give me anything. So I was trying to survive on over-the-counter, robaxant type medication with acetaminophen and a muscle relaxant. And I thought I was going to go out of my mind. I absolutely thought I was going to go out of my mind. And when I finally, at the 4-week point, when I went to see the other surgeon, that's when I learned that I had the 4 fractures plus the humerus. And my shoulder was in a mess, and I asked him for pain medication. No, get it from your family doctor. Who wrote your last prescription? I'm like, my family doctor. And he's like, yeah, get it from there. I'm like, oh my God. Are you freaking kidding me? So I went through torture for months. He had talked about, doing a shoulder replacement, but he wanted to see how my shoulder healed. And as it turned out, it didn't heal properly. I was in a sling for, I don't remember if it was 4 or 6 weeks. I think it was like 6 weeks, maybe even 8. My arm was in the sling. Said it was too busted up that they couldn't put a plate in, and they just wanted it to stay in place and see how it would heal. And meantime, I'm suffering. no pain medication, and I really thought I was going to lose my mind. I would be up pacing and, couldn't sleep. I was sleep deprived, and anyways, I was told that, because of whatever the Canadian government, the health board that rules over the doctors, um, had given them some kind of stern warning that, you could lose your license if patients get addicted to these opioids. And I'm like, okay, so this is what I'm thinking. So because there's an addiction crisis, people that really need the pain medication can't get it. So the doctors don't want to do their job, which would be to write a prescription, say the Percocet, I don't know. I don't remember what I was on all those years ago when I busted this shoulder, but I'm thinking it was probably 4 a day, if not 4 times a day. But like, all you have to do is track. If they come back, if your patient comes back too early, then it's like, no, sorry, you can't get any more. And then, for people that don't have self-control or have the common sense to know that these are addictive drugs and can't wean themselves off, then the doctor should be doing it. From what I've read, a lot of the problems come from, people get addicted to this and they start taking more and more, which obviously isn't for the pain, because as time goes on, you should be healing, so the pain should get less. Instead of the doctors, weaning people off of this stuff, they just stop them, and then they're on the street or going to different doctors trying to get these pain medications. Now, when I was on the Percocet for my other arm, I remember it was like every 4 hours I could have them, and usually by the third hour, they'd start wearing off. Pain's that severe, and I would pace, sometimes take Tylenol, try to keep it down to, a bit of a minimum, and I would wait that 4 hours. I wouldn't take it before then. And, as the pain got less, I would try to go longer without them. And for a bit, I was still taking them 4 times a day, but you try to go longer and wean yourself off. Obviously, people don't know how to do that, or if it's teenagers, parents aren't monitoring how much their children are taking. So it should be the doctor's responsibility, and I don't think making a person have trauma on top of their injury is right. Like, we still need pain medication. People that are suffering with severe injuries, oh no, because the government said we'll now be responsible and lose our license, we're not going to prescribe it anymore. It's like, really? You try to live with what I've been trying to live with. And then on top of it, I had to start physio, try to get my arm moving when it came out of the sling, and that was just torture. It was absolute torture. I can talk about the medical system and the doctors and the way I've been totally screwed over. I think I'll do that in another rant. Um, but I want to know what people think, especially in Canada. I don't know what the situation is in the US, as far as, doctors prescribing pain medication. But I just know here in Alberta, in the communities I live in, which is cities, it's not like it's little time towns, and they're probably experiencing the same problem. Um, if anybody else has had the same hardship in trying to get pain medication for severe pain for what's showing on an x-ray, like it's not like I'm going in and saying, oh, my neck hurts, or oh, I'm having migraines, or oh, my back hurts, and nothing showing up. I had 5 fractures. Like, come on. They wouldn't be able to put up with the pain. They wouldn't go through it. And there's got to be other people out there in the past year that have run into the same problem. If you haven't, then who's your doctor? And what city do you live in? Because I'd like to know. It's, now it's looking like my shoulder's screwed. It's full of arthritis. Replacement surgery, shoulder replacement surgery might be my only option for any kind of relief and to have any functionality with that arm, but I don't think I can go through it without any pain medication. It's just any kind of shoulder injury or surgery, it's excruciating for the first while. You don't realize how much you use muscles and the tension that goes to a certain part of your body until it's injured. So I hope people watch my rant and respond. I really want to know what the situation is in Canada, in Alberta. Like, what the hell? Doctors got to step up and do their job. That's what they get paid for. Come on. Peace out.